Welcome to Simple Sacred Home. My name is Paige, and in today's video I'm going to be taking our steel door and we're going to try to give it a wood look. My dream is to have wooden doors that are stained just like our French doors here. However, we wanted these steel doors, and so I've heard a few different ways of transforming these steel doors into a faux wood finish, and so that's what we're going to try to do today. I have no idea how this is going to go, but we're going to get started. Okay, so this is the product we're going to be using. This is called Retique. Basically, it's called liquid wood. Put a fresh coat of wood on it. It says Retique liquid wood allows you to apply a layer of unfinished wood on virtually any hard surface. Once the wood dries, you can apply the non-penetrating stain of your choice without sanding or stripping off the old finish. And so I saw Exo McKenna use this in her bathroom makeover that she did, and so I decided to give it a try on the doors. I heard that it works on steel, so we're gonna try it. So they do have different colors. I decided to get light wood, and the reason being is that I know the color of the stain that I want the door to be, but that color is what it looks like after putting it on natural wood. So I want to get this door as close to natural wood color as possible, and then we can stain it so that it can get as close to this wood color as possible. That's the plan, at least. We'll see if we can get there. So what I've heard is really need at least 2 coats of this. We'll see if 2 coats is enough, and depending how this front door goes, I also want to do it to my side door, and then depending how that turns out, I also want to do this on the doors outside. Now Retique, this is their interior version, but they do have an exterior version as well.
All right, and before I started adding the Retique, I did go through with some dish soap and water and just wiped down both doors. This is going to get rid of any dirt, anything that might be stuck to the doors, and give you a really nice clean even surface for the Retique to stick to. And then once I washed off the door and made sure it was nice and dry, I just started going in with the Retique. I tried to stay with downward motions when applying the product. There were a few times I did go in an upward direction with the product, and I don't think it made a negative impact on the end result. However, you do want to think about what the natural pattern of a grain would be, and it's likely going to go in the same direction. They do have a tool for Retique that after you apply the Retique, you go in with this grain tool, but I didn't want a super grainy look, so I just really wanted the brush to give the appearance of that grain without being super grainy, if that makes sense. But if that is the look you're going for, they do have specific tools that you can use with the Retique to give it that super grainy look. I personally found this product really easy to use. I have heard other people say this product was super stinky and smelly and smelled like chemicals. I personally did not experience that, and I'm usually super sensitive to chemicals. I had the windows open and I did have this mask on the entire time. However, once I was done painting on the Retique, I did take my mask off and I couldn't smell any harsh chemicals. So once again, I did use the interior version of this product though. Maybe it's the exterior version that has a really strong smell. I'm not sure. I haven't used that one yet. It could also be that maybe their older products had a very harsh smell and they reformulated to help with that. I'm not entirely sure. But like I said, that was just my experience. I didn't notice any harsh smells or anything from this product. I would say the most difficult part of this project was the top portion of the door above the window, because it's such a small space to be able to get those strokes going in the right direction. So I just did my best, but I'm still really pleased with how this turned out. After I got going with the first coat, I also did have my husband come in and tape off the glass, so I didn't have to worry about it getting on the glass, and that was a really great idea. So highly recommend if you do have any windows to your doors to tape those off. Alright, here is what the first coat looks like. I'm going to do long, even swipes with your brush, but you'll see that even with doing that, it starts to kind of pool in areas, which is giving that green-like appearance. I apologize for the lighting too. The sun's starting to set, so it's a little hard to see, but yeah, it's naturally just doing this in certain spots to give that grain effect. So I am excited. This was the stain that I was going to use. This is the stain that I used on the French doors, which I love, and it's the color I want to stain all the doors in our house. But this is a penetrating wood stain in the color Honey, and right on the Retique packaging it recommends not using a penetrating stain but rather a gel stain, because the penetrating stain you would need like 5 to 7 coats of the Retique for there to be enough for the stain to penetrate into. So I'm going to try to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and have them match this to a gel shade so that I can get it as close as possible to the actual wood French doors. So hopefully we're able to find something for that, but yeah, let's just get started on the side door. I also didn't tape off the doorknobs. I didn't like take off the doorknobs and tape off that section. I would recommend doing that. I ended up taking off the doorknobs a little while after this portion. So I really liked this Retique product. It was not super messy. Like I said, it didn't have any crazy smells, and it was just really easy to work with. I felt like you really couldn't mess it up. I did take my time with this product, and I did do a total of 3 coats. I was planning on only doing 2, but after doing 2, I thought the 3rd coat would definitely be worth it. Okay, so it's been like an hour since I did the 2nd coat, and it's still drying down a little bit, but we did decide we're gonna do a 3rd coat. So I'm gonna do a 3rd coat tomorrow, 1 more coat tomorrow on each door. By tomorrow evening, I'll hopefully be able to do the stain. This is the color we picked out. It's called Hickory, and it is a gel stain. This says it's good for wood, metal, fiberglass, and more. This lighting is making the doors behind me look a lot more red than they really are, but this was the closest match to the Honey shade, which is what's on these. So I know we're not going to get an exact match, but I'm hoping to get it as close as possible. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the door has 3 coats on. I've let it dry for over 2 hours, which is what it requires. And we're gonna get started. I'm a little nervous because this is really gonna be the make it or break it portion. I have a new stain brush, and my plan here is to start within these rectangles and try that first and then go from there. So what I've heard from other people who have done a gel stain on a door is you just really gotta focus it going in the same direction. I'm gonna go with less is more. Start with the very bare minimum product on the brush and see how it goes. This is where I really started to get nervous. This gel stain was much thicker than I thought it was gonna be for some reason, and when I tell you, I was putting such a small amount on my brush and it was still coming out so thick. I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be way too dark. This is not gonna be the right color. And I truly was starting to panic here. What I found was that I wanted to put a couple swipes of the product on and then really kind of blend it out. So you'll see here that I started to just continue to swipe over the product time and time again, and that thinned it out a little bit and it made it look a lot more natural like wood. I think the other hard part was when it comes to these rectangle divots in the door, you really do, in order to get into those little grooves, you have to go left to right or right to left. So I just went really slow, really just tried to really take my time with this process and get it as even as possible. I figured, you know, if I go a little too light-handed with it, I can always add another layer if I need to, but if I go too dark, it's going to be a lot harder to backtrack from there. So yeah, I really just took my time with this process, really tried to do long motions so that it would give the appearance of grain, and I think it came out really well.
Okay, here is a peek at the door. It's in the process of drying, so I'm gonna start the other door. I think it looks pretty good. I'll show you guys, like, obviously as we go, what it looks like, how it dries down. It definitely has some grainy effects to it, which is how this door is. This one's obviously lighter, but they're in the same tone, so it's looking pretty good.
So this is what it looked like after just one coat. I didn't need to do more than one for this, and I'm super happy with how it turned out.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY home project. If you give this a try, I would love to see some photos over on Instagram at simplesacredhome. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more DIY content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.